Okay, so this is just my trial for next week for Ian. I don't know how many people are going to watch or what to do because it's a little bit earlier than planned. So I've got my phone up, so my comment is going to be under my phone. And I've turned my phone down now because I can hear it in the background as well. So good morning, everybody. It's say my trial for next Saturday. I haven't got a clue what to talk about. I know Ian's going to be doing his 10p raffles or 10p things again today. That's his alphabet 10p's. The main one obviously is the Peter Rabbit. It's going to be running in the background, I believe, all day. He's trying to get as many 10p alphabets as he can get for the gold Peter Rabbit, or the proof Peter Rabbit as it may be. I don't know if it's gold or not, I can't remember now, it's in the title. Pass. So obviously people know what the alphabet 10p's are, so just a quick show of what they are. Here's one of my books, and the 10p's are in there. So there's obviously lots of different letters from A to Z, and so forth. We've got one person that's now joined us. Morning. It's John, so hello, good morning, John. I don't know what it looks like, what it sounds like, if you can hear me, and to be honest, as all the other CJs have said, this is rather embarrassing. It's different, it's not something I'm used to doing. I'm totally out of my own comfort zone, so forgive me if I sound like a total idiot. You may also have my kids walking past every now and again. Katie was supposed to be doing it with me because she's the one who does coin hunts with me. Unfortunately, she's upstairs at the minute with her mother, which is fine, and my son may come past as well, so forgive him. He's called Oliver and he's a typical 14-year-old lad, so you can imagine what he's like. Quite fun at times. So I'll start by talking about my Royal Mint experience. So I went to the Royal Mint with the guys last week. I met Steve Fraser first at the bar with Ian. That was quite interesting. Never met any of them before. I knew what Ian looked like, obviously, because of his live streams. I didn't know what anybody else looked like or what they sounded like or anything. So that was kind of interesting. Again, that was a bit nerve-wracking. I can see morning comments in the bottom of the screen now. That's great, so I don't need my phone as much. Hello, Lou, as well. So as I say, I met Steve to start with, Steve Fraser with Ian. Obviously, I recognised Ian. I didn't recognise Steve at all. That was in the Beefeater next door to the Premier Inn on the Friday. I arrived around about 3 o'clock or so. Ian was actually still at the Mint at the time, I think, with Family Collects. Give me a second, actually, Ian's giving me a call. Hold on. Hey, mate. Well, I'm live at the minute. I've got Louise and someone called John, I think, on at the moment. So we're live. It's very nerve-wracking, totally different to what you expect. I don't know how you do it all the time, mate, to be honest with you, but there we go. Oh, and by the way, I'm going to put it on speakerphone in case people want to hear. Give me a sec.
That's all right, I'm coming on now.
Are you coming on now? Well.
Yeah, I'm coming on now, so I'll be here to back you up.
That's fine. Well, I can hear you in the background anyway, mate. So I was just telling people about our experience at the Royal Mint, or when I first met you, so I'll go on to that in a second.
Yeah, that's cool. I'll get myself a little bite to eat or something, and then we'll get on with, I'll come in and I'll give you a little auction or something to do.
Right, okay, fair enough. Alright, cool. I'll speak to you in a bit.
Bye, mate.
Bye. Well, as you could tell, obviously that was Ian in the background. So, as I say, I went down to the Mint. So when I arrived at the Mint and checked into the hotel, to my surprise, the room had already been paid for. Now, it was actually paid for via Ian because there was a bit of a room mess up, and he had a problem with his credit card, so we had to go online to actually pay for the room. Obviously, we sorted things out once I met him, so that was that, and so I had to wait then for him to arrive and tell me he'd come back from the Mint. When he'd come back from the Mint, we then, I went to the pub or the Beefeater next door, and that's where I met Steve and Ian, and we just had a bit of conversation. A bit later on that night, we were joined by a couple of others, and then we went to the Mint on the Saturday, and our showing was at 12:30. That was Ian and myself. The rest of the Coin Tubers was at 1 o'clock. We couldn't get onto that one, it was fully booked unfortunately at the time. So we went in, we asked the lady that was doing the tour a couple of awkward questions, or rather I asked her a couple of awkward questions in relation to Peter Rabbit going into circulation, which she didn't really want to talk about, and I can understand that, that's fine. We then watched obviously how they struck the coins and things, which was really interesting, and then from there, you know, we went back to the strike your own place, pressed the button, got your strike your own coins. After we got the strike your owns, we actually got led out again. The whole time you're in the strike your own place like that, you're not actually allowed to have a video camera on you, so you have to do it. It's kind of like a secret thing, so you can't have the camera on you at all. We went in there. As soon as we got back out, you get led into the shop, and that's obviously when we started doing the things with the 10p's and making a run out of postcards, etc. We kept getting the 5-10 pence pieces in change that were alphabet 10p's. I think I ended up with something like 160 over the weekend, which wasn't too bad. However, I exchanged mine on the Sunday once I dropped Ian at home, because I drove Ian from Cardiff to Weymouth, and I drove back from Weymouth to Stockport, which was a bit of a lovely drive, to be honest. So I managed to strike myself a bit of a deal with Ian. I gave him all of my alphabet 10p's for this full set of alphabet coins, which I've got in front of me because I wanted a full set. It's for my daughter Katie, so I ended up getting this lovely full set of coins, and that was pretty much as it was. So Ian obviously got a good deal from that. I didn't realise he was going to be now auctioning things for the 10p's, otherwise I'd have kept them and got myself some of the sport ones yesterday, or indeed some of the gold proofs or proofs that he's putting on, especially the Peter Rabbit. But you know, these things happen. Lesson learned. I remember for next time, or in January when we go back, and I'll keep hold of some of my 10p's rather than just giving them straight to Ian in the first place, which is, you know, quite funny. So obviously, as I say, my main passion is 50 pence pieces. I tend to just hunt for 50p's. I get bags of them from the post office and from my local Santander bank. They're quite good with me. They unfortunately recognise my face and think it's that weird man that comes and collects 50p's. Obviously, I had my daughter with me at the time when I'm doing it. Most of the time, Katie comes with me because she's the one that collects them as well. I've got a tub full of extra ones here that is going to Ian probably at some point. And Ian has now, I believe, added Louise, so she's now a moderator as well, which is good. It's a very delayed response on my tablet, so if I don't notice comments and things as much, I do apologise. I've also got my phone in the background, and it's a bit odd hearing yourself chat while you're doing the live chat, so it's very different. So if anybody that's come in that I've missed, I'll just have a quick whiz through the names. I apologise if I missed anybody. So obviously I've said John. I know Louise is there. I'm not sure how you pronounce it. Is it Keelan? I apologise if I pronounced it incorrectly. And that's all we've got at the minute. So we're on an hour early because I was just trying this out for next week, because I'm going to do a couple of hours stint next week in the 24-hour charity one. Steve, I've just seen you've arrived. So good morning, Steve. I was just talking about our mint experience in the background, and it's very different being on the camera than what it is actually being in watching you guys doing it yourselves. It's very different. So as I say, we went around the mint, we rinsed them all their 10p's. I gave Ian all of my 10p's in exchange for this album, which was very well received by myself. And then from there, as I say, my main passion was 50p's. It always has been. So I started doing them with my daughter Katie, and we've been collecting them for a good while. Unfortunately, or fortunately for myself, I've managed to get 3 full sets. So I've got one for myself, one for my son, and one for Katie. Oliver's was the last one done because obviously Oliver's not really that interested in collecting 50p's, but it's a good investment for his future. I have been very lucky, as you saw on one of the pictures, managed to get myself 3 2009 Kew Gardens. I found one by fluke in one of my coin runs, and I found two. Well, I paid for two. One was more expensive than the other one. I'm not going to say the prices because we all kind of know what figure they go for on eBay. I checked they were genuine, obviously, before I bought them, but you can only go off what people's pictures show. Unfortunately, the pictures, as other people may vouch, they put pictures up that aren't always of Q, which is a bit annoying. And you may purchase something you think is Q, but it isn't. So hence why, from now on, I will only buy from people like Ian, Steve Fraser, etc., because they make sure the coins are genuine before they sell them. And I'm sure there's lots of other coin tubers out there that also sell coins, and again, you can trust them if they are friends of Ian, because obviously Ian wouldn't be friends of anyone or sponsor anyone or mention anybody if they weren't genuine, correct coin holders or coin people. So obviously anyone like Steve, Ian, etc., I would now just use them to get coins. The Royal Mint themselves directly, obviously, although we may have had a few issues with the Royal Mint, or Ian has, I've not myself had any issues with them. There was one incident on the trip that I didn't quite like, of a poor lady in a wheelchair, we tried to go around the Mint experience, and unfortunately she couldn't get around due to being in absolute agony. So she was outside, but her husband managed to go around, and they refused to give her a strike your own, which I know that, well, Ian keeps saying people donated. It was actually donated by Ian to her. He gave her it just because of the fact that he thought, you know, it's not fair that she didn't get anything, being in pain, and that the whole point of going around there and paying the £6 odd was to get you strike your own coin. I was quite lucky. I managed to get two of them. I got one from the Friday and one from the Saturday. Obviously one's going to Katie and one's for myself. I'm not obviously doing anything with them. I don't intend to sell them. I will keep them. I don't know what's going to be in January. If when January happens it's something I don't want, like a non 50p, then whoever's on the trip will probably get offered it at the price that I bought it for, which obviously is £6 odd, because I'm not really interested in anything other than 50p pieces. So Ian, Steve, if you're on the tour with me, you obviously get a first refusal if you choose to have it and it's not a 50p piece. And yes, I know you can get 40 odd quid, 50 odd quid on eBay, but I'm not in it for the money. I never have been. Anything I find, I would either give to my friends that collect them, or if they don't want them, then I will put in a box and give them away to other people, or send them to Ian now and get myself some points, or possibly some, I think it's like 60p to the 50p or something from Ian. So that's fine. There is another comment, so let me just have a quick whiz over some of these. I appreciate people obviously talking in the background and commenting in the background, because this is a lot more difficult than people think. And yeah, it was quite disgusting the way they treated the lady. It wasn't the nicest thing. That was from John, who probably commented a moment ago. You can see it on the screen. Yeah, it wasn't quite nice, to be honest. The actual Royal Mint staff themselves were actually dead nice. You know, they were dead lovely. A lot of them were nice. There was one or two that had what I would call attitudes, where they weren't very polite or very nice. One of the managers wasn't the nicest. That was on the Saturday. But you know, at the end of the day, they're doing the job, and if you've got a load of coin tubers coming in and rinsing your tills 10p's, I can understand why they might be a little bit annoyed. But you know, it was there to get your 10p's in change, so you do. The cafeteria staff were all lovely. Unfortunately, they could only give you 2 at a time rather than your 5 that you can get from the main shop. I'm also led to believe from a source that was at the Mint, can't remember his name, bearded guy, lovely. He pretty much said that whenever they get a new release 50p that goes into circulation, that they put that in the cafeteria till. So if you do ever want to get a new 50p that's just been released, the ones that are going into circulation, like the Paddington, etc. So not the Gruffalo, unfortunately, which we all know isn't going to be released, or doesn't look like it's going to be released, because they can't really, because they didn't release the first one. So how would you advertise? Or would put the second one in circulation, but another one was, the first one wasn't? That doesn't make sense. People don't even realise there's a first one that just looked pretty in the change. So you can get them from the cafeteria. the new 50p's, I'm led to believe, which is quite a nice thing if you're looking for 50p's like me. So hopefully they'll be released quite soon in January, that will go into circulation. The next time we go there, and I'll be able to pick one of them up, or a couple of them up, or 3 basically is what I want each time, I say, for Oliver, Katie and me. So go back into my coin 50p's. I've got 3 full sets, hence why I don't need them anymore. When I say full sets, it's the ones from 97 up to circulation ones, so up to this year in circulation. And the kids have also now got some of the uncirculated ones because I've been buying them for them as well as myself. My collection's a bit more than what the kids have got because I started doing it myself. So I've got every 50p from 69 onwards, including all the proof years. So you can imagine I spent quite a bit to get all of them, which is, you know, it was something I wanted to do. I don't spend my money on much of things. I don't drink and I don't smoke, as the guys can vouch for that are on the mint. So I spend my money on that kind of thing, the 50p's. I've got a Blue Peter one, which I was quite lucky to get. It cost a few quid off eBay. I got lots of, say, all the proof ones, etc. Some of the rare ones that are out there, I've got them as well. But that's pretty much me. And now obviously I've got a 10 pence 18, and I recently bought a 10 pence 19 for my little girl Katie. The 10p come from Ian on our trip, and because I exchanged all my 10p's for it, and the 19 I bought from the Royal Mint directly just recently, using what Steve suggested. That's the Top Cashback app. So I've got some cashback from that, and obviously Steve suggested it, and I've linked him, so I believe he gets some vouchers as well. So anyone that does want to do Top Cashback, I'm sure Steve Dreadnought Coins will send you a link. You can then put him on there, and he will by all means get a refer for you, and you'll get some extra cashback for doing so, which I don't think he'll mind me saying and plugging for him. So that was the way that I did it. So it's definitely different doing this. I'm trying to keep up, but the screen doesn't actually keep the comments on very long, so I keep looking down at my phone to try and read the comments. I'm sure I'll get better at it as the time goes on, so forgive me if I sound a bit odd or I'm looking down and you get the top of my head rather than my full face. Mind you, my full face isn't much to look at, as the wife keeps telling me, so that's fine anyway. So absolutely fine. So I can't read these comments too well. I think I need to go to Specsavers again. So yeah, it was a great experience at the Mint. I say at this point in the background, don't forget Ian is going to be doing a Peter Rabbit proof that he wants to get as many alphabet 10p's as he can for. So that's going to be running over the course of today, I'm led to believe. I'm not sure if he's going to be doing any more raffles in the meantime. As I say, I'm only here just to try out, make sure it worked for next week. Forgive the pictures in the background, that's of the kids when they were younger. They're obviously, as I say, now grown up and older. Oliver's now 14 and Katie's 12. I'm looking that way because it sounded like one of the kids was coming through the door, but it doesn't look like they are, which is fine. I'm trying to do it so I don't get interrupted, especially with teenagers, and a teenager in particular that can be a bit of a pain at times. As much as I love him, he's a sausage as it may be. So moving on, I can't read many comments. There's a few out there. I'm quite glad it's going in the background. I think there's a big going on of some kind. Yeah, I think there's definitely something going on the notes. So I apologise and say you'll have to forgive me for a second. Forgive me, is the door open? I think it's one of the cats. It is. So yeah, I've also got cats, so I apologise if you see one of them jumping up wanting a cuddle. I've got 5 of them, mainly because of the wife wanting them. So I think there's a coin tuber out there that does his coins and always says hello to cats. So I'll just say hello to my cats in the background as well, so forgive me for that. Morning, anybody else has joined. As I said previously, I'm just standing in or doing an hour. I'm probably going to get a lot more thumbs down than anybody else has been given so far, but I don't really care. It's a trial run. This is for my proper one next week. It's trying to get into the gist of doing things in the background because I'm not used to doing it. So I can definitely hear someone walking around behind me. I think it's me. Well, it's one of the family members. So let's just have a quick check. I might even quickly phone Ian and see what's going on because I've missed it. On the set. Hey?
Sorry.
That's alright, don't worry. That was just the wife in the background. Sue, say hello. I'll be able to hear you.
Hello. I don't know, are you?
Yeah, I know. Okay, see you in a bit. Forgive me. I'm just trying to ring in the background, see what I've missed. I know, it's me. You're right. It's alright. You there? So I'll put you on speaker because I'm not sure what I've missed. It's very hard to try. On the tablet that I'm using, I can't see the comments that come up on the screen. So I don't know what's going on in the background. So I thought you might know. So I thought I'd give you a quick ring on loudspeaker so people can hear it and see what's going on because I haven't got a clue. I've just been waffling as you do.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if you put any auctions up.
Delay in a minute, so I'm talking to you in real time on the phone.
Right, got you.
On the thing.
Oh, I can hear me in the background. Yeah. Yeah, I can hear it in the background. I think I'm going to get the most dislikes out of anybody. I've had 8 thumbs up, God knows why, but I think I probably have like the most thumbs down because I really haven't got a clue. I'm just totally winging it. I've been on. I've been on 24 minutes. Fair enough. All I've done so far is talk about our mint experience, how I exchanged all my 10p's for this coin album for Katie, and since then I bought in 2019 thanks to Steve Fraser. I've mentioned my coin collections. I'm not showing them all because there's too many.
I'm watching and listening in bits.
Fair enough.
As I'm going from room to room, I'm keeping an eye on you, don't worry.
That's fine. So I don't know what people are putting on in the background. I'm hoping people are putting auctions and things on in the background. That would be quite nice if they do for you, because that'll kind of help you get some more alphabet 10p's that we're after.
Well, that's it then. I mean, there will be, that'll be going on in the background. At the moment, everybody's running out of 10p's. Keep it going.
Fair enough, fair enough.
I'll sit down and have a watch and I'll be interacting as well.
That's fine. Well, so I keep missing the comments, so I do apologise. It's because on the tablet that I'm using, I've nicked my daughter's tablet, her old tablet.
Comments at all?
No, they're not coming up on the screen whatsoever. So I keep trying to get them on my phone, but obviously that's not much success either. I think when I do it live next week, I'll do it in front of the telly, so I can actually see the comments on the TV, and I'll be able to keep up with it. So I'm just literally winging it.
Anything I need to say to you, I'll just text you. So keep your phone by the side of you, and then I'll text you.
Okay, fair enough.
If you ask me a question, I'll text you an answer.
Fair enough, that's fine. Okay, so forgive me, people in the background. I can't read comments, so
yeah,
I apologise. All right, Cole. I'll leave you in peace, mate.
Don't worry about getting a thumbs down. There's always a thumbs down on my channel. There's always several.
That's fine. I'm not particularly bothered. It's just a try run and a dummy for next week, isn't it? Really, let's be honest. I think there's only one person that hasn't had any thumbs down, and that was Warren. So best of luck to him. But everybody else, I think, has always had them. So you never know. I might get the record thumbs down. At least I've got something to remember, haven't I? So that'll be interesting, won't it? All right, I'll leave you in peace, Ian. So if you need me, you just text me. Otherwise, I'll just keep waffling down the camera for the next hour until the next person comes on. All right, I'll speak to you in a bit. See you later. Bye. Okay, sorry about that. So I just because I can't see anything that's going on in the background, I'm just having to trust in other people, which is always good fun. What I might do is I did actually get. I was very lucky, and because of my 50p's, etc. I was one of the lucky ones that managed to get. Do you remember the 50 years of 50p? The first 50 years of 50p commemorative box that the Royal Mint released, or we thought it was going to be the first one. I was quite lucky, got myself the proof set with the Kew Gardens in, so I'm just getting it out now. It's still in its cellophane, still wrapped up. I bought this. I was quite lucky to get it for not over the odds, which I believe it sells for quite a bit on eBay. So I'm not selling this myself. It's just something I wanted, so I was quite lucky to get it. So it's the proper thing, not the one that's released. I bought this. I was desperate to get it, thinking they wasn't going to release them, which is another nice trick they done. So when I thought the proof set was coming out, me being me, not realising, I bought it thinking, great, let's get this proof set. Going to be one of the only people to get one, because there was only a set amount released. I've got on this one number 2265. You can probably see the card there, and it's my 50 years of the 50p with the book. So I got this, and it's the proper proof set. So I will try and get it out. I've never touched this yet, so it comes out quite easy. So there we go. There's all the coins with Q, etc. So there's the obviously Britannia, Roger Bannister, Q Scouts, and Girl Guides. So that was the original proof set. I was quite lucky. I got that for the original £90. There was that problem with the system, if you remember, people that went to buy it, where the system didn't work, it crashed, which wasn't the Royal Mint's fault. It was just unfortunately one of those things that happened, and I was lucky enough to actually still get mine, which I was obviously very, very happy with. So I got that, but I didn't realise they were then going to release it and into like a different set of 5, the bunk set as it may be. So when I thought I was buying this, I thought I was buying literally a once in a lifetime opportunity, just to get the coin. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case. They then released the coin into bunk, as we know, and it is still in bunk now. So I got that. It's still a great buy. I was over the moon with it. I'm just a bit gutted spending all that extra cash when I could have got it for a lot cheaper later on. But once I got the one bunk set, unfortunately when the military one got released, I had to get that one as well. So I got the military and the and this one. So I got both of them. So I've got the proof sets as well, which is quite a nice thing to have in my collection. I'll show you the military one as well, just to prove I've got it and I'm not telling porkies. So this has never been out of its wrapper either. So there's the bubble wrap, and it's the military set, 50p's. So that's the back, that's the front of it, and there's the back of it, and again it's the proof set. There we go. So I've opened that one up, same thing. This one is 1682, and again card and the coins I will pull out. Now obviously with this one, those that don't know, you've never seen it, obviously I'm sure you must have seen the sets by now, but it has actually got the D-Day 50p in there. So obviously you've got your Battle of Britain, Victoria Cross medals, then the D-Day, which was only released previously in a big 50p piece back in 1994. Obviously Battle of Britain, Battle of Hastings 1066, and then the Victoria Cross Heroic Acts. I've heard lots of people call it Wounded Soldier, all different kind of names, so I'm led to believe it's the Heroic Act. I could be wrong, but that's what I call it anyway. So that was the other proof set that I got. Again, but at the time when this one was released, I knew that they were going to be putting it into a bunk, because they did it with the other one. So I still wanted that though, because obviously you couldn't have one without the other. As Ian will vouch, I tend to be one of those that when I get one, I want the rest. So unfortunately, I ended up with both, which is, you know, quite a nice thing to have. Again, for my collection. Eventually, it will all go to Katie, because Katie is the one of my kids that enjoys collecting coins, whereas Oliver not so much. However, I have got a set of 50p's for Oliver as well. I'm doing it for an investment for them, especially the Alphabet 10p's, because if they work the way Ian thinks they're going to work, they'll eventually be about £10-15 a coin, if not more. I'm hoping, because of the rarity of them being 210,000, and obviously Q being 220,000 for the 10p's, and Q being 210, I'm hoping that the rarity of them will put them up to around about £100 each 10p. Sorry, and obviously if you've got a full set at 26, you're looking at quite a bit of money there. You know, £100 per, that'll be £2,600. She's obviously got the 19 set as well, so that's 5,000 and not 5,200. And the way that things go, that'd be a nice little bit of a deposit towards a stepping stone onto the housing market, as it may be now, for her in the future, or indeed she can keep them, hopefully get lots more in when she's older. But that is the reason I've got the 10p's. I've got no intention, to say, at all to get rid of any of them, and all of my coins will eventually go to Katie anyway. I've got one quick question. Hold on. I call one. Oh, right, okay. Ian calls it a parachute, the one that I was talking about, the heroic axe, because he thinks it looks like a parachute. Fair enough. I believe that's what his text message states. So I call the one the parachute because it looks like it. Okay, well, the heroic axe, I believe, is a parachute according to Ian, which is fine. I'm not sure if he's still got me on delay or if he's still got me as it is. Apparently 16 watches, 14 likes, no thumbs down at all. That's from Steve. Thanks, Steve. He sent me text messages as well. Obviously, Steve's got my number, as has Ian. So that's great. And I believe the only other person I gave my number to was Dean from My Family Collects. I haven't mentioned them much. They were obviously with us at the Mint. They were lovely. I really related to Graham. Honey Monster, as you all refer to him as. He's a top guy. Really nice. Gentle giant. He's quite a big man. Tall, wide. He's just a quality guy, to be totally honest with you. But he was lovely. One of the nicest guys I've ever met. In actual fact, everybody in our Royal Mint experience was all dead welcoming. You know, I get people at work taking a mickey out of me for collecting 50p's. I won't say what some of the comments that people mention at work, especially certain people, like one in particular. She says it's like maybe a bit early to say it, but you can imagine 50p begins with P, that she calls it. But I do like my 50p's. I check everybody's change at work and try and get more of them. As I say, not so much now because I don't need any more. However, I have started doing my coin runs, and I'm collecting them now and going to be sending them to Ian, so he gets some of the rare ones. I'm not going to say the particular Britannia dates that I'm looking for unless Ian says I can, because he thinks there's a couple that are really rare. Obviously, we all know about the 2008 Britannia, because of that was a switch over when the Shield got introduced, so there was a lot less produced for them. So I know about those ones, and obviously I think most of the coin tubers out there do know about those ones, just like the Shield dates that are missing, the 2009, 10, 11, 16, and obviously now 18. They weren't put in circulation, so they're rare and sell for quite a lot on eBay. I was quite lucky. I managed to get a 2016 in change. Goodness knows how, but it was at my lad goes to Stockport Lads Club, which is not too far from where we are. They just had a centenary birthday as well, so I'll give them a quick plug while I'm at it. And they manage a lot of football teams. One of them is Opperton Park, play from there. and I actually managed the under-7s teams for them as well. So I'll never say no to sponsors and things. Not that I actually intended to do that, but I've mentioned it now. I'm here anyway. But yeah, the football team, Harry, the guy there, or H, he managed to find a 2016 in his change, and he offered it, and I obviously bit his hand off and took it. So I got that off him, and that's the only one I've come across in circulation, or not supposed to be in circulation, but was. I know that some of the coin tubers out there have found the certain ones. I think Christopher Collects found 2011 from memory. I think some of the others have found 9, 10. I'm led to believe Ian's found a few in change as well. So that's quite nice. Which it's also, again, they're quite rare to find. I was quite lucky to buy a 2018. I got it for a couple of quid before they went and were approved as non-circulation, so that was quite nice to get as well. But a 9, 10, 11, unfortunately, I didn't get for free. I had to pay for them. That's some playing with the door in the background again. So I got those ones as well. So I'd say I've got the full set. I think it's the wife again, so sorry, forgive me in the background. So there's something going on. There's the countdown going on, I think, from what I'm looking at. So I think people are auctioning things off. So forgive me as if I'm waffling, and I've just seen numbers being counted down for a second in the screen. I think someone looking at this has just said they've got a spare 2010 50p. 80s and 90s if you want to swap. To be honest, I've got a 2010. I bought it, but thank you for the offer. I don't personally need any. However, I'm sure if people out there, John, read your message about the coins, that there's maybe a few that want them. So in particular, maybe Ian might even give you some points to have that, so you might be able to get some of the other ones, because I believe he also lists coins for those years that you're looking for in the background. The proof set, sort of proof coins, I managed to get some when I was a kid. For example, the 92, 93 coin, that's the dual date one. I was quite lucky. I managed to get one of those when I was younger. I didn't realise I had it. It was actually kept for me by my mother, as well as a couple of £2 coins, which she gave us, the old 1989 £2, the Bill of Rights and the Claim of Rights. One went to my brother, one went to me, and we were quite lucky in that respect. But a dual date 50p, I was lucky to have one of those. I've also seen a fake one of those, or as it's called, a souvenir coin, and you can tell the difference between the two. So yeah, I think someone looking at this has just won something in the background. I'm looking on my phone, so forgive me. I've just seen a countdown. So that's fine. I've forgotten what I was up to in relation to my coins. So I've got the full set. I started doing it for KT. The 1911, 16 were out there, and 18. If you get them, keep hold of them. People will sell them on eBay. I think someone has got one here that's a spare one. He may want to swap, which is absolutely, great. And if people manage to swap for him, I'm sure that'd be brilliant. Maybe Steve or Ian could possibly look at some kind of deal if they want a 2010 Shield, because I know they are quite hard to get. The Britannia, again, there's a couple of years Ian's told me to keep an eye out for. I will be keeping my eye out for those when I'm doing my hunt, or hunts from now on, and obviously any commemorative. The commemoratives Ian tends to want me to look for is anything under 5 million, although saying that there's a couple that are around about the 6 million mark that I have been definitely keeping, because they're out there. And obviously the Potter 2016 set, as we all know, the new ones that were released in 2018, 3 of them are rarer than Puddle Duck, so they're definitely worth keeping. In my last bank run, I was actually very lucky and found 2 of the rabbits with the carrots, or I don't know if it's carrots, I call them carrots, I think other people call them radishes, but anyway, I call them carrots. So I managed to find 2 of them in my last change, and a Flopsy, which obviously have now been put away quite nicely for a rainy day, or as it will probably to Ian, for the future. And obviously the duck is the one that everybody knows and wants. Hearing the story of Ian's duck, where it's been struck again in 17 and 18 with the same date, so there's definitely a few more out there than the 2.1 million they said. I'm not sure how many exactly are out there for the duck. I can only go with the figures that I've got, which was 2.1 million. There's obviously quite a few of those counterfeit as well, so just be careful if you are buying those off eBay, because I'm sure people out there have probably got some copy coins or undesirable coins as it may be, and they're not realise, or they don't realise that they've got one, so they're doing it quite genuinely and not realising that they've actually bought a fake, and then they sell them on. So unfortunately, I'd imagine that's the same with Kew Gardens, because there's lots of Kew Gardens always listed on eBay. But again, it's all right for someone who knows what they're looking for, like I do with a Kew, and as a lot of the collectors will do with Kew Gardens. But I'm guessing there's a lot of people out there that find it and don't realise it's a fake, and then they list it as a genuine one, just because they don't know what they are, or they don't know, the actual what to look for on the coin. I think Change Checker, I think UK Coin Hunt, they've all put videos on how to spot a fake one, and it's worth a view just to make sure you're not being stung by anybody on eBay trying to sell one. Generally you find the copy ones have got copy in the bottom corner. Underneath them there's other things as well. The Queen's Eye is very distinct on it. Now a lot of people say the front of the Kew Gardens coin, in actual fact I'll get a Kew Gardens coin out. They say at the front of the Kew Gardens, I don't know how well it will show on the camera, so on the front of the Kew, here's a Kew, it's on the front at the bottom there. I don't think you can actually see it. Well, on the 2009 there's no lines at the bottom unless it's a proof coin. The proof coins did have lines, so the ones that are sold in sets had the lines at the bottom of it. So there are people out there that will sell it as a genuine because they've got it from a proof set. I think Dean may have done that from My Family Collects, and he sold one, I believe, to somebody on eBay. It was a proper one, got it out the packaging with his white gloves on and everything, put it into a coin capsule, sent it, and then the guy then moaned that it wasn't a proper one because it had the lines on it, and he took it to a person that looked at it, which obviously people that are out there that know the proof coin know it was a genuine because the proof one does have the lines there. But it's mainly the Queen's side that you can tell a lot of the stuff on. There's a couple of things with leaves on the Kew as well on the front, but the Queen's side is where you can see it's with the heads pointing towards the P. That's one thing to look for. It needs to be pointing to the P. If it's away from the P, chances are that's a fake. The Queen's eye is dodgy on the fake ones. Underneath the Queen's neck it might say copy. There's a couple of other things that I know what to look for, but I can't remember off the top of my head when you're getting them. I've got a message from Ian, so forgive me for 1 second. Okay, so I believe there's a couple of bids that have been going on from Ian. Again, forgive me if I've pronounced it wrong. I think Kian won a £5 coin for 30p, so 3 alphabet coins, and Phil Corbett has bid 60 alphabet coins, so basically £6 for the gold rabbit so far. So the gold Peter Rabbit 2019 is going to be running in the background all day, I'm led to believe, and if you've never seen one, the gold proofs are absolutely amazing coins. I've never been into collecting the gold proofs because I'd just be spending too much money on those, and it's something I probably couldn't afford to do because there's so many out there and they're lovely coins. So the gold proof Peter Rabbit and all the other ones, I believe there's people out there that average about £65. They're quite expensive when they first come out, so obviously you can imagine how many there are and how much that would cost if you wanted every single 50p, as I would, as gold proof, or I couldn't do that. I'm sure there's people out there that probably could, and if you can, I wouldn't blame you. It's a great investment. So to getting them at this kind of, as it may be, £6 or 60 alphabet 10p's is an absolute bargain. So I'm not sure if that's jumping up especially if you've been clever enough to go to the Royal Mint like we did and get, you know, a postcard for 50p followed by 5, 10 pence pieces of alphabets. So you can spend a few pounds to get those. You can probably get your 60 quite quickly. So that's great value. You know, you could literally be spending, so it's £5 per, or a pound for 5 coins, as it may be, because you have to get your thing. Well, apparently Ian's saying gold is too dangerous for me, especially with my OCD. I would want them all. He's quite right. Yeah, I would. It's a bit the same as the coins he was putting on there yesterday. I was so tempted to get the I would have been bidding if I still had 10p's for the 50p athletic ones. I would have been going for all of them in the bunks, which I'm glad I didn't. I mean, this is actually a 4th set that I've got. It's a spare one. I am keeping this because I've got the album. It's not the official album. I think it is an album, but it's not the actual Olympic album. It's just an album that I've got with them, and this has got all of them in it, all 29, including the football, etc. But this is my 4th set of Olympic coins. I've got the one for myself, one for Katie, one for Ollie, and that set of Olympic 50p's. I managed to get all of those, or the majority of those, in change, and also when Ian was running that last mega giveaway weekend, I got a couple of them, the ones that were missing, as it may be, at silly prices. When I say silly prices, I think one of them was like 70p, because of codes and things he was giving away. So that was quite good. So I managed to get one of them, or quite a few of them off Ian that week. He sent me another message, forgive me. Right, apparently Ian says the next auction is a 1982 50p from a set, non-circulated year, and then opening the bid with 1 coin. So I believe there was a gentleman before that was a bit stuck or looking for 1980 and 90s 50p's. So it might be worth you keeping your eye on that and seeing if you can get them off Ian. Maybe one that you need, I'm not sure. If it is, it's obviously starting bid there as a 1 alphabet 10p, so you can probably get quite a few alphabet 10p's. I tell you, what I will be doing later on is watching this. I won't be watching it because I don't like the sound of my own voice, so I'll have it on mute, but I'll be reading all the comments that have been happening in the background because I really haven't got a clue what's been going on. I'm trying to look, and I physically I can't, so I don't know what's been going on. So thank goodness for modern technology and text messaging from Steve and Ian. I think that's keeping me going. So as I say, there's a 1982 proof 50p out there, well worth doing. In actual fact, I can probably tell you the mintage of the 1982 50p. If you give me a second while I'll have a quick look. So if it's the large 50p, it's a proof set one, isn't it? So it was put into circulation, a large 50p, and there was about 51 million out there, which obviously, bearing in mind what the large one was at that point, I believe someone's going for a bid now with 1 coin for that 50p. So obviously, bearing in mind there was 51.3 million 1982 large 50p's put out there, and obviously in 97 they got rid of the old size 50p. They're going to be a lot more scarce to get hold of and a lot harder to get hold of. So the 1982 50p, although at the time it may not have been as scarce as some of the other ones that are out there, getting an uncirculated one is quite rare. So if Ian's selling an uncirculated one, the minute it's going for 1 coin, yes, that is a bargain, because anyone that buys on eBay will know that the average old size 50p goes for around about £3-4. Don't quote me on the figures, it depends obviously what year. Some are a lot more expensive than that. For example, a dual date will go for an average between 60 and 100. So it does depend totally on what you want and how desperate someone is at the time to buy it, if it's to complete their collection, etc. So I was quite lucky, I got one of those. I inherited it I've actually also bought one because I wanted one for my little girl, and that one wasn't overly cheap. I'm not going to say the price that we got for them or spent them, but they're not that cheap because there's so few of them put in circulation. At 92, 93, that is actually rarer than Q. Can you remind them eBay is cheaper than me for A to Z 10p's right now? So Ian's saying, just to remind you all, that eBay 10p's are cheaper than he is right now. So I think what he's saying there is, if people are smart enough, you could go on eBay, buy yourself a load of alphabet 10p's to auction for these coins. I'm not sure how much a set of 10p's goes for on eBay, but if you can get, I don't know, a couple of £50 or a couple of 50p bags, then obviously you could quite easily put a bid in for the Peter Rabbit and not have to worry too much if you're going to get outbid. Bearing in mind, I'm not sure how much that is at the minute. Last I heard, it was on 60 coins, which is still, you know, a fantastic deal for the Gold Rabbit 2019. So anyone that wants that, obviously make sure you bid. I'm led to believe that someone is coming on at 12 o'clock, so I need Ian to tell me what I need to do in 7 minutes to come off. Just a very quick reminder, this is the first time I've done this. It was just a trial because I'm doing a proper live stream next week. In the meantime, I'm going to have to suss out how to be able to read my messages in the background. I think it may be through my telly, but obviously there's going to be a bit of a delay or a bit of a lag on that, as there appears to be on most things. I hope I haven't done too bad. I apologise if I've been waffling quite a bit. It's just it's the first time I've done it. I haven't got a clue what to talk about, other than coins and my 50p's that I tend to like. Obviously there's lots of coins out there. I know people do £2 coins. One of the most videos that got my attention on Ian's website or Ian's site was Dean's grandma, which obviously is My Family Collects, where he was going for, where she's been collecting all the £2 coins and putting them in her book for a number of years. And I believe he was given the Northern Ireland £2 coin, which, as we all know, its Commonwealth one is quite rare. I can't remember who gave it to him. I think it was one of the other coin tubers, and that was obviously put in the book. And there was a few spaces that his nan had still. So there was obviously a big, massive section at the bottom. I think about 17 coins, where there was a big block where you can't get those coins because they weren't put in circulation. So that, to me, made me I just knew exactly what that's like, not having the coins in circulation to be able to find them. It means that unfortunately you have to put your hand in your pocket and buy them because they're not being put in circulation, which is a little bit annoying for anybody. So seeing that at the bottom there made me think this just kind of sums up exactly what Ian's point is and why he's doing his stunt with the Peter Rabbit and soon to be the Gruffalo. I totally understand why he's done that. Is to get some in circulation, to make that very lucky for those 400 Peter Rabbit finders out there to get one. However, I must stress, as he stated in a couple of videos, if you do manage to get one, you're very lucky to find one of the 400 in your change. He won't give you a letter to prove that it's a genuine one, and I imagine there's a few reasons out there for that. Number one, then people will try and sell it and get more money for it. Number two, and that's not the point of why he's doing it. He's doing it to make it so that anyone that wants to find that coin in the change gets a chance to find that coin in the change. As we all know, there's been a set. The first year was 5 Peter Rabbits, the second year was 4, third year was 4. So for them to release a coin that they're not going to put in circulation, especially with lots of kids out there that want them, is quite naughty. Same with the Gruffalo. Coincidence that the author is a Julia Donaldson. She's not related. However, you know, that the Gruffalo's the first one was released towards the beginning of this year, and then the second one has now been released with the mouse. That also is not going into circulation. So if you think about it, that's a market out there where kids are going to want those coins, and unfortunately there's going to be a lot of parents out there that want the coins for their kids that won't be able to, you know, buy them, although they are still in certain places at £4.50 plus your £2.99 postage just for the coin itself. But obviously people like Ian can only get the the package coin, which is like £10 a pop. So that works out a bit more expensive. So if you want all the packaged ones, then you're going to try and get them all. It's going to work out quite expensive. Hence why Dean's grandma is never going to be able to fill that book. Although I'm led to believe that she may be able to fill a book shortly due to kindness of people on this channel, and people, supporting her, and possibly Ian is talking to Dean about getting her to fill a book, which is nice. But as again, any other parent out there that wants these coins, 50p's, the rest of the full set of the Peter Rabbit as it may be, is going to find it very hard to get them. So putting 400 in circulation, although as stunts and to prove the point as it may be, I think it's absolutely brilliant, because it gives 400 people a chance to get that coin. So if the Royal Mint aren't happy about that, then to be honest, that's tough. Put it out there for everybody to get hold of it. Those 400 lucky people, great, best of luck to them. I still want to be one of those lucky 400 people, although I've bought one, or 3 as it may be, one for me, Katie and Ollie. So great. It also is quite desirable for the ones that were for sale on Ian's site, because people want the letter of authority or authenticity or whatever he put it as. But again, if you do find one in your change, Ian won't give out a letter in case there's people out there that do want to sell it on. That's not the point of it. It was to make sure people could find it in their change and just prove the value of that coin. If people do sell it on eBay, I don't think Ian's going to be unhappy, because it's more publicity. The more people that buy it on eBay, the more it gets his stunt out there, and the more it gets media feed, etc. So I don't blame him doing that. It's great. Thanks for Ian's message. I believe he's closing the 1982 50p now, so I'm hoping that has been sold. I don't know how many coins that's gone for, so I believe he's in the process of closing that down. So that's good. So now back to the Royal Mint and their 50p's. I still buy from the Royal Mint, don't get me wrong, and I still will get my 50p's and from Change Checker, Westminster Collects, etc. Because I want them, and obviously I want them as cheap as possible, as I'm sure other parents out there do. My point of it is to get them for me, Katie and Ollie, and that is that. I've got other friends out there that also collect 50p coins, and they'll want them, but some people won't be able to get the £4.50 or indeed £10 when they're all sold out to get those coins, and when they go up even more expensive. So by him putting it in circulation, I think is fair. The Gruffalo, I'm led to believe there's going to be a few more. There's going to be a few more put in circulation. I can't remember exactly how many he said, whether it was 450 or 750. I can't remember what he said was going into circulation, but he's obviously going to put a few more Gruffalos in circulation. That's the first Gruffalo, obviously, the one with just the Gruffalo's face. I can possibly show you one of them as well. The one that will be going into, Ian's putting into circulation. This isn't one of the actual ones. This is my proof one that I bought and put it into my coin book. So this is the first Gruffalo that was put into available by the Royal Mint. That is the one that Ian is put into circulation next. And again, he's not doing it. I'm led to believe he's doing it to prove a point that it's not fair that they don't release the coins, which I do understand and do totally agree with. If there's parents out there that want the Gruffalo, then hopefully they'll find one in their change. But anybody that wants a letter to prove it would have to buy that from obviously Ian's site, and one of the coins, because he's not going to send out letters for the ones that you find again, because unfortunately people out there will try and make money on it, and it's not a stunt to make money, it's a stunt to put the coin in circulation to try and get the Royal Mint to release all the other coins in circulation and make it fair for everybody to find them. I've just read something about an uncirculated coin. Give me a sec. So it's closed off to 50p now. Bid stands at £3 for Jackie. That was a message from Ian. And let me just see what's going on if I can. There's a message from Louise, something about a 1983 proof year, 50p uncirculated. Oh, it was a 1983, was it? I thought it was the 82. Oh, it wasn't 82. It wasn't 82. Yeah, I thought it was the 82. That's fine. So I believe it has been won, that coin, which is good. It's also 2 minutes past 12, so I'm not sure the person who's supposed to be on from 12 till 5 is coming on. Again, just a reminder, I was doing it just for a trial for next week's live, because I'm doing 2 hours next week. So I hope I wasn't overly bad, or well, I look fatter on the camera than I do in real life, but I suppose that's life. I am quite a big bloke, but it makes me look bigger than I think it does. So there we go. It's definitely different. So I keep having flashes on my phone, but I don't know what they are. So yeah, I wish there's a way you could lose a few pounds on TV screen, but I don't think there is. So just a very quick one before I do close off. Let's say what Ian's doing, I understand it, totally back it, totally support it. I'm sure the people on this site also do, or that are watching. I hope people out there manage to find the Peter Rabbits. I hope they find the Gruffalo and all the other ones that are put in circulation. That are going to be put in circulation by Ian, that haven't been put in by the Mint. I hope that people find them, and best of luck, especially if they've got kids like I have. Then I appreciate and respect the fact that people will want them, because not everybody can get them, and that's great. So I hope people do get them. We are going back to the Royal Mint in January. Anyone wants to come on and join us? I know from memory, I know Steve's definitely going. There's a few others on here that are going. I'm going, Ian's going. We've already booked our room at the Premier Inn. So it's a Premier Inn, Lennon's, I can't remember how to pronounce it, I'm not very good at Welsh. Lennon's Stand, or Lennon's something it is. So that's where we're staying. It's literally about a mile away from the Mint. You could walk there in about 15 minutes from the hotel. Taxi ride from the hotel is about £5 there and back. So £5 there and £5 back. Or there's plenty of car park spaces, so you can probably just drive from the hotel to there as well. I think that's the way that I'm going to do it next time, because obviously I'll be driving down from Stockport to the Mint. So I'll be going by car. I'll probably drive myself, Ian, and a couple of others in the car to the Mint itself on the day, on the Saturday we're booked in for the tour. I believe Ian's going down on the Thursday. Well, I know Ian's going down on the Thursday. I'm going down on the Friday, as I believe Steve Fraser. So there's a few of us going down to the Mint. I'm not sure what people are putting there. I think Steve's just put a comment on. Apparently, according to Steve, a good 10 plus people are going down, and Steve's just called shotgun in the taxi to the Mint, not the taxi, or we'll call it the taxi, the Scott bus, in my lovely car. So I believe that we're going down for the on the Saturday. So it's the Saturday 25th. We're going down on the 24th, and I believe the tour or the trip is on the 25th. I'm not 100% certain on the dates. My memory's shocking. I know I booked the hotel. What you can do with the Premier Inn, it's quite good. You can either book it and pay for it, or as we do, you can book it and then do it on something called a flexi, which basically means you pay a little bit more, but if you can't manage to go for whatever reason, so say for example we get the beast from the east and the storm and snow and all kinds of things and you can't make it, then you can physically cancel and you don't get charged anything, which is quite good, the Premier Inn do. So that's handy. So I say Ian's going Thursday, I'm going Friday, Steve I think is going Friday. The tour itself is on the 25th that we're booked into. Steve, myself and Ian have all booked to go on the 1 o'clock tour, so I'm not sure how many more are available for that tour. As I say, last time we went, it was good. It was more than good. It was absolutely brilliant. I had a thoroughly brilliant time. I totally enjoyed myself. It was amazing. A lot of the staff are absolutely lovely at the Mint. There was a couple of others. I think someone else is coming on now. I think John is about to come on. So I'll wait for Ian to send me a message to let me close down, and then I will bid you a fond farewell. So if anybody that does want to come to the Mint and join us, please feel free. Come to the Mint, meet Ian, hopefully a few others. I was quite happy to meet Christopher Collects. He was one of the ones that I first started watching videos for, and I've got a bit of respect for Chris. He started getting me into my 50p's, and I can now come off. So I bid you a fond farewell. I think I just press X in the top corner, and I will leave John to carry on. Thank you. See you all next week.